happy to be present amidst you to pay tribute to a great son of India and Tamil Nadu, Kalaignar, Dr. M. Karunanidhi, on his second death anniversary. A legislator for over 6 decades, a 5-time Chief Minister, and a pillar of strength for many a coalition governments at the center. Kalaignar was one of the few individuals who witnessed and contributed to shaping modern India. He was a crusader for the poor and the marginalized. He always stood as one of the strongest voices in favor of federalism and decentralization. A friend and well-wisher, my personal interactions with him always left me enriched. In 2018, I clearly recall that the last conversation we had was on phone just a few days before he left us. I had inquired about his health. His demise had come as a deep shock to me. To the present day, it is hard to reconcile with the fact that a leader who influenced the states as well as the national politics for almost 6 decades was no more amongst us. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I knew Kalaignar since 1967, that is for almost 50 years. I had been acquainted with him whenever I went to Chennai. If possible, I made a point to visit his house and see him. His deep understanding of Indian politics, social norms, and the diversity of Indian culture deeply inspired me. Upon becoming the Chief Minister after the passing away of his mentor C.N. Annadurai in 1969, Karunanidhi, the ever vocal crusader of decentralization, had federalism called a conference of all state parties. It may be recalled that the elections of 1967, which had brought the DMK to power, had proven to be a watershed that witnessed the emergence of many state parties, including Odisha Jana Congress in Odisha and Bangla Congress in West Bengal, among others. I had attended that meeting as a representative of the Bangla Congress and had spoken on ideal federal scheme for things. Much water had flown down the proverbial river when, to my utter surprise, after about 40 years of that speech of mine, Karunanidhi quoted from and showed a newspaper cutting of it to argue a case for Tamil Nadu when I became Finance Minister in 2009 and he was Chief Minister. Indeed, he was an inheritor and practitioner of the best traditions and qualities of leadership that India can be proud of. A drain of our public life as a contributor to the development of Tamil Nadu and of India, he has few peers. He advanced the cause of the Dravidian movement, especially by Ramaswamy, Pediyar and C.N. Annadurai carried forward the glorious history of the state with pragmatism, having inherited a political milieu deeply infused by the Dravidian movement. He became one of the primary players, along with M.G. Ramachandran, who ensured that his state was always ruled by a regional party since 1967. Karunanidhi's contributions were not limited to politics. He was a man of letters who enriched the Tamil language with poems, novels, screenplays, and dramas. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, personally, I hold him in a very high regard, and the feeling was mutual because, as the senior-most leader of the United Progressive Alliance, it was he who had proposed my candidature for the office of the President. I recall, while proposing the name, he showered his blessings on me. Although I am hesitant to repeat them, yet to demonstrate the bond which I shared with him, I shall quote his words because it is a gift which is very close to my heart and which I shall always cherish. He said, I quote, I am personally happy because of your decade-long associations and your love and affection for Tamils. On behalf of DMK, I wish you a very bright success. Your victory for the top post is a foregone conclusion, unquote. This token of affection shall always remain with me. When elders bless you in public, one's sense of responsibility increases by leaps and bounds, and I tried my level best to live up to that expectations. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, cooperative federalism lies at the bedrock of fulfilling the countless aspirations of our people. Although a union of states, our constitution makers have embraced the concept of federalism in the socio-political milieu of India. Federal form of government tailored to suit the exigencies of the Indian situation was the need of the hour, as articulated by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and it got accordingly enshrined in the Constitution through the Constituent Assembly. Kalaignar was at the forefront to put into practice the ethos of unbridled federalism. In my opinion, this was his remarkable contribution to Indian polity. An unprecedented crisis of enormous proportions, the COVID-19 pandemic has presented a new set of challenges to India and our states. It is this concept of cooperative federalism where states are given the requisite freedom to act and fight the pandemic in a decentralized manner that will determine our success or failure in these uncertain times. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as the nation now celebrates the 150th birth anniversary of the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, the challenge before us is to realize the guiding principle of Indian democracy as envisaged by Gandhiji, and I quote, it is one where the weakest should have the same opportunity as the strongest, unquote. Despite not being a Gandhian per se and having never been a part of the Congress, it is these values that Kalaignar represented whilst he fought for the weakest in the society. With these words, I once again pay my tribute to the harbinger of social change in Tamil Nadu. Thank you. Jai Hind.